everybody, for the Block 9 post-match reaction, and it's live! Yes, good afternoon, well, evening now, everybody. Well, it was a pretty good day yesterday after all. So, welcome to the show, folks, where we're basking in the green glow on this sunny day of a massive Argyle triumph. Yesterday, the Pilgrims sent Norwich City packing with a 2-1 Miron masterclass. Who's the man of the hour? None other than our very own Ryan Hardie, our goal-scoring maestro who struck twice in 5 minutes, leave the Canaries chirping in despair, while Norwich flapped their wings for a quick reply at the start of the second half from Josh Sargent. It wasn't enough to clip Argyle's spirit. So grab your pasties and settle in if you haven't had your dinner already. Let's dive in to a victory sweeter than a Devon cream tea as we keep our survival dreams alive and Norwich ponder what might have been in this championship birdcage of a match. Well, there we go, folks. So, let me just bring Herbie in. There we go. So,
Hello.
Andy, quick hellos. How are we doing?
Excellent, mate. Really good. Sunshine is coming through my window. It's lovely. I can see blue skies, birds, and I can hear canaries and sometimes,
Yeah, I thought I could hear some chirping going on in the background there. Gavin, a beautiful day. Some good quality time with the family as well on days like this. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Again, spent many a kilometre today walking with the kids and the wife and brother and sister in there too. Bit of sunshine, bit of vitamin D. They got an ice cream, I got a flat white. The world is a good place.
Well, I've got Sophie sat here with me who loves to watch us do the podcast. Let me just shuffle her. There we go. And Herbie with those fabulous curtains. How we doing, mate?
Yeah, all good. Definitely better after yesterday's result. I think I'd have been very sad if we lost, but we're still in it, so that's good.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. So let me give for a sort of thing I want to do going on is just a bit of a match synopsis, and I'll come to the guys for their opinions. So obviously a vital 2-1 victory, and I've said this, there's always that glimmer of hope, and obviously some of the other results went our way, which was great. So that just keeps it alive, I think. Hardie obviously was the star again for us. The confidence, whether it's a mental thing, I've said this before, it's a bit different now, nothing to lose. Obviously, took both goals very well in the 24th and 29th minute, giving us that 2-0 lead. But straight after the second half whistle, Josh Sargent responded quickly and scoring on just 44 seconds. In fairness, it was a very well taken goal. That put it to 2-1, but despite some hard pressure from Norwich to get that equaliser, we held firm to claim all 3 points. So the win reduces our gap to safety from 8 points to 5, boosting our survival hopes, like I said, one more time. So for Norwich, the defeat for them is their third in 4 games, denting their playoff hopes, which my dad, being an Ipswich fan, is very pleased about. So even though, I think they're coming back down. So yeah, if I come to you, Andy, first, give us your overview of the game with your dodgy, very greeny background.
I'm trying to get a different background on there. I will work on that during the live, but synopsis of the game. Very slow to start, weren't we? I thought Norwich sort of came at us in the first 10, 15 minutes until we got the goal. And then we just sort of shifted it a bit, didn't we? We got the goal that got the crowd on side. The second goal, both good goals, by the way. Particularly the first goal, the way he took that ball down was amazing.
The pass.
yeah. I mean, Rando's ball as well was sublime, wasn't it? He just took it down on one touch and then hit it over the top. Amazing goal. Give us a bit of hope for going into the second half, and then bang, straight away, second half. I said to Ray Clark, we don't want to concede now, and what happens? We go and concede. It's like, ride it. And then it was squeaky bottom time. I've got to admit, till the final whistle. But yeah, good game, good win. I mean, valuable 3 points for us, and we needed it, big style.
Yeah, absolutely. Gavin, it's, sort of I've been clinging to that bit of hope, while mathematically it's still there. But it's certainly, the result has kept all the sort of haters on Twitter quiet this past 24 hours. So it's funny that, isn't it? But yeah, go on. What was your thoughts on the game?
It's amazing what happens when you play without any real pressure. And I know the Miron it's a must-win game. We're all full of pressure. They weren't. In their heads, they were down, and it was go out and play for some pride and do the shirt some pride, and hopefully get the first goal and see what home park delivers. And that's what happened, I think. I was very, very happy with the first half. I think it's probably going back to some of my earlier sort of research on mirror ball. I think it's as close to Cercle of Bruges style mirror ball as we've seen. With the high press and getting the ball wide quickly and getting the ball in the danger area. I thought the intensity of the press was class in the first half. I thought we were exceptional. Led by Bundu, Obafemi and Hardie. I thought they were exceptional. Quite liked it, actually, to see the early doors of Obafemi sitting in the middle. I know Carl, who's working tonight, put a message on the group. What the F is going on here? Why is Obafemi playing down the middle? It's clear they tried to turn him on the turn with some longer balls, but it was about a force 9 gale, I think, going straight down the pitch. So that sort of completely quashed that. It was amazing how high those balls stood up once they were sort of put into the stratosphere. I thought our defensive shape and press was class in the first half. Our transition was very, very good. I thought Norwich were a little bit complacent. That's the way it felt to me. It felt like they were just going to come up, go through the motions and expect to win. One thing that really pleased me, I suppose, just to summarise, is Miron's final words of the press conference on Thursday was around, we need to show ourselves and the Green Army that we want to stay up and win this game more than the opposition do. And I thought, absolutely, to a man that came on that pitch, we looked like we wanted it more than the opposition. And you can't say that about every game this year. Let's be candid about it.
No.
There are weeks where you've gone, Jesus Christ, did you even get off the coach mentally? But they were up for it yesterday, which obviously got the ground going really quickly. I thought it was as noisy in patches, 5-10 minutes yesterday, as it was for any game. Liverpool, Leicester last year, Hull last year. Thought the Green Army were brilliant, but it's always easier, isn't it, when the sun's shining on your forehead to get going and get sort of it infused. But I thought first half performance was probably an 8.5, 9 out of 10. Second half probably a 7. I think we were too deep at times, and I think we were certainly tired. I think from that first half, a lot of
100%.
hard work was done in defence from the front three backwards. And then the game changes I thought were exceptional, and I'm sure we'll come on to that a bit later. But overall, really professional performance, and it really grips the people that like to kick the cat on Twitter. And there was an interesting tweet earlier from Ninja Matt, I think it was, that said, here are the number of tweets that come out after a game when we lose. Here's the ones that when we draw, and here's the ones when we win. I think it was 30 responses to the Argyle official tweet yesterday on winning, and it was 157 when we got beat by Derby.
Could certainly do some Grok AI analysis on the sentiment. It's just what happens, isn't it?
It is what it is, and I sort of responded by saying that I think a lot of mental health, it's going into Andy's more special sphere than mine, but I think a lot of mental health precludes that. A lot of people enjoy kicking the cat harder than they do praising people, especially when they've been on their backs recently. But there were a lot of players out there that have been taking pelters recently on socials that I thought were really, really good. It was a great professional performance. The last 20 minutes, I thought we were pretty solid still. It didn't feel like we were going to be losing the game from, when sometimes it's inevitable, and it has been this year, you think, we're going to concede in a minute. I didn't feel that at all yesterday, certainly in the last 20. So, very happy with the game, very happy with the first half. Hardie, as Andy's already mentioned, took both goals exceptionally well. And in Miron's words, we're still alive.
Yeah, No, absolutely. Herbie, yeah, getting your phone just adjusted there as you dropped out and came back in. I think there was, a sort of a few things there, in terms of that game. Getting the first goal seems absolutely pivotal for us. And I think, we go on to generally do very well, and not when we don't lose tendency to that when we get the first goal. It shows how important that is. The confidence, the mental side of it, where it's like nothing to lose now. And, the sort of turning up at the ground, Herbie, I sort of looked around the stadium and thought, there's a few empty seats. It felt more than normal. Had some people given up. A few that normally family that sit in front of me weren't there, but I think that was just circumstance. Probably gone away with the half term. Steve, though, with Nathan, I think he's called his mate, joined, who's been watching our shows before. Had a good chat with him. But yeah, it was just one of those where, all round it was a very good display. And against Watford, we couldn't just quite get the points to win it there. But, it's positive, isn't it? And I mean, are you thinking get a win against, Swansea on Wednesday, and results could still be on, can it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, back-to-back wins is probably what we need. So to win against Swansea, we're in with a chance as much as anyone. But I do, regarding yesterday, I actually think that we were 2-0 up yesterday, and I spoke to the guy next to me, and he turned around to me and said, I actually don't think we played that well. And to be fair, I've seen Argyle play better in the first half, and Norwich, I think, were really good in that first 20, 25 minutes, but we had one chance and we took it, and from then on, the crowd got behind, and the momentum of the players meant we went on and grabbed a second. And I think if we didn't score our first goal, we wouldn't have scored any, and I think it would have been a 0-0 display, or we would have lost. So it is all about taking that first chance and having a bit of luck in bearing the first chance.
Yeah, I think it's certainly. I'm just going to sort of pull up the FOTMob stats screen, so hopefully you can all sort of see it there. The possession overall, it's rare that we see a 75-25 going in favour of the opposition, but it's normally around 70-30. So yeah, I think. I do recall us. The stats show total shots being to us, 9 versus 8. 8 versus 9 to them, but on target 4. And actually, I can go to, if I use this tool correctly, if I go to the early chance that we had by Katic, when the other side to this is we don't always take our chances. Against Watford, that was evident as well, where we could have, done something to win it. But in this game, we absolutely did that. And that on the left here, as you can see, was Katic's header at goal. We sort of started off really sprightly, but then after that, until Hardie's goal, really, it was all Norwich, wasn't it, Herbie?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was all Norwich until our goal. I remember Sargent had a great chance where he literally, it felt like he couldn't miss it. Yeah, look how close he is there, and he just completely spooned it and went in the air. And I remember looking around to people and thinking, hell, that was we got lucky there. But in a sense, for a team that's bottom of the league that aren't a better footballing side than 20 teams in the league, you need a bit of luck to go your way. You need that sort of stuff to go your way. But then also you need to be clinical in the chances you do get. And Hardie was definitely yesterday, and he really understood his role. And just going back to possession, I remember Gav on a live lounge earlier. Well, when we were doing about Cercle Bruges and Mueslich, his possession was over 50%. And we're getting, and I don't even think we've had 50% possession with him. No. So it's clear that he's still not able to, put his actual play style onto this team yet, and he's still just working with what he needs.
In patches, it's coming. There was a break yesterday late in the second half. Well, probably 3/4 way through the second half, where JB took the ball in midfield, did a 1-2 with, I think, Randall, played himself into space, got the ball very quickly to the left wing to Bundu, who fired across into the red zone, and it flipped the studs of Ryan Hardie.
Yeah.
I know when he was interviewed in Diamond and on the presser afterwards, he didn't even want to talk about his 2 goals. He was like, I should have buried that.
Yeah.
I can't believe I missed it, and that's going to keep me up all night. And I'm like, that's what we need from our centre forwards.
Yeah.
Absolute ruthlessness. That, sorry, I might have scored 2, but I could have got a trick and I could have put us out of sight, which for me was brilliant. But that particular play there and a couple of others I thought were excellent in terms of looking at the way we play it. And guess what? There was not one long high ball in that entire play, just to let you know. So there was not one loose.
Certainly a high ball from Randall, but not that long.
I think you said it earlier on, didn't you? The wind sort of played part in that, didn't it? It was swirling around. It was quite a fierce wind down
fell
there.
off a cliff. The first goal, you're right. I think Randall's first touch is Premier League class. And I don't want to use that term advisedly. It was absolutely outstanding. Then the ball sort of comes over. You'd have thought the keeper's going to come and collect it. It just kind of goes here, dum, and just drops like a stone because it hits a bit of breeze.
Yeah.
And again, Hardie's touch is sensational. What I don't get is when you're 9 years old and you start playing the game, right? Probably a little bit less time ago than for Herbie than it was for me or you. But you get told to play the whistle, right?
Yeah.
Both the centre backs for Norwich just stopped and looked at the linesman and went, "He's obviously offside. What are you doing?"
I tell you what, I'll
to be fair, when I was looking.
I'll play the highlights reel from Argyle TV on YouTube in a minute, and I sort of, when I re-watched that goal, part of me, I think the defenders felt once he brought it down and turned, I felt they just expected him to smash it, and because he took, I think, another touch, it caught them out, and then they were in no man's land. So for once, in this confidence thing, in this, sort of mental situation with the fact of maybe an acceptance of that, we just got nothing to lose. Let's just go out and fight, as we touched upon. He just seemed to then go, do you know what? Yeah, I'll take my time on this, and buried it. And,
I think because he brought it down, it was all, but he brought it down waiting for the whistle. I think that's what the two defenders thought. But
I think there's part of that.
In Diamond afterwards, he said, "I knew I was onside. I tracked back with their number 3. I knew I was onside with the ball was played over, and I knew I brought it down and put it in the corner. And it was left-footed, very good finish. But I think the way he brought it down, both the centre halves thought, "Oh, we'll referee will blow now, and then we'll get a free kick." And they just kind of stopped for a fraction of a second, and the ball was in the back of the net.
Yeah.
I'm
just going to. This guy's had a trap mirror as well on his back, quite recently, and he's pulled the ball out of the air like that. That's superb.
Yeah, I know. You can see.
On that note, yesterday before the kickoff, Obafemi runs over to the bench, literally 30 seconds before kickoff when they're lining up, and gets about 3/4 of a tub of deep heat rubbed into the bottom of his back. And I thought, oh shit, it's not even kicked the ball yet. He obviously came through it, but I thought, surely he's not held together with sticky back plastic and a bit of sellotape either. But he seemed to play well. But you're right. I think that taking that ball over your shoulder, he must be back to full health, because if he wasn't, he'd have jarred there.
We'll touch upon it in a minute in the second half, but he definitely was sort of struggling in the second half until.
I think that was engine though, Mike, couldn't it? I think he was blowing out his backside, quite frankly.
Yeah, I do notice when I watch the pre-warm up that he does take a couple of painkillers or tablets of some sort before, when they do the little kick around to each other, quick movement of the ball, pass and move. So obviously it is there a little bit. I just want to say evening to those that have joined us tonight. Obviously, it's a nice day. The Manchester derby's just finished 0-0, but we do have Ninja Matt in with us again. Says evening, guys. Good to see you all. Yeah, good to see you, Matt. Graham is in as well. Hi, back-to-back wins needed now. Something we haven't done. I know
we have done that.
We have done that.
Yeah, we have done that, have we?
We did. Yeah, we beat West Bromwich Albion 2-1, beat Liverpool 1-0, and then we beat Millwall 5-1. I understand.
Well, there we go then.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I might be wrong.
That's all right.
No, you're right. You're right.
Ninja Matt earlier said 5 times more guys as a losing team. Do we actually prefer to moan at losing? It's so interesting to see. That's with regards to the social posts when Argyle lose, the haters seem to go quiet. Maybe they were just basking in the sunshine and didn't have time to get behind their keyboard. Also, Andy, as we're talking about Hardie, Andy Prowse evening, I slated Hardie, apologised, and then he flicked a goal goal scoring switch. He must have an incredible mindset to come through the goal drought to be better than ever. Absolutely brilliant.
Incredible.
And yet, it's no surprise, since Miron's come in, that sort of turn of form has occurred at the same time. So, yeah, really good. Ian, good evening, Ian. Good to see you again. JB played well there, and also Graham. We'll come on to the lineup and the players in a second. Graham saying, thought JB's cameo performance, as he came on as obviously as a substitute, was the best I've seen from him. And that could be potentially because he's played a lot of games, his way of saying, don't leave me out again. I must admit, I was a little bit surprised to see Houghton in the starting lineup. But it was good that when JB came on, there seemed to be actually timing perfect for the substitutions for once, the initial substitutions around that 60-odd minute mark, and then going in, to sort of like, just like Bundu even seemed to just get a extra sort of energy boost. He seemed to be lagging, and then suddenly the crowd got behind him.
Do you know what I noticed yesterday? I don't know if any of you guys did, but the front three seemed to a bit like swans flying overseas. The tip of the V where you get all the pressure, or in this case not, they kept swapping. So Hardie would go at 9, the two boys would go wide.
Yeah.
Obafemi would go at 9, the other two boys would go up wide. Because if you look at those wide channels, I think that's why Hardie was blowing so hard. It was you're up and down. You're all but playing wing back, aren't you? But slightly further forward. So having a rest in the 9 channel, being the tip of the spear for 5-10 minutes, I think just gave all three of those front three players a real opportunity to get a bit of a breather. And that's why I think we kept 2 of the 3 of them on a bit longer than we normally do. Because it meant they had a little bit more in the tank, I think, which I thought was a really good tactic, because I think we've done that until yesterday.
So, Voodoo, evening Voodoo. When is Ninja Matt counting Twitter replies? Well, someone has to do it, I suppose, if they've got too much time on their hands. Graham confirms he's saying in the league he meant the back-to-back wins.
So West Brom and Millwall.
West Brom,
right.
Unless Graham, you want to check now, but I'm sure
Graham will. Graham will go.
We had Liverpool in between, but I'm pretty sure we had 2 wins on the bounce against West Brom and Millwall, and I think they were both at home park.
So anyway, it is just emphasising Graham's point. It's more important than ever to get another then back-to-back win. If we can go from the Watford hard-earned point away to then obviously beating Norwich and then getting a result against Swansea on Wednesday, who are a little bit hit and miss at the minute, could be really useful. Right, what I'm going to do before we go into the sort of players a bit more, because there's some few stellar performances there, let's just run the Argyle TV highlights of the game. I'll put the sound. I don't know if you'll hear it anyway, to be fair. But starting with that, I think, was that? Oh, no, yeah, Hazard. Great save. I don't know. This is only a 2-minute reel, so it's not the full reel. There's the touch.
Touch there on Rando.
And that one as well.
Touch there.
Time. Boom.
Those touches. Random, bring that ball down like that, and then in the next move, just flick it. Wow.
Let me just go back to that, actually, because the highlight reel won't show that. So bear with me a second. So, you can sort of see there. It's actually, I need to go back a bit further because it's the bring down. Yeah. So it's this here, high, looking up, soft touch, and then over the top.
And it's pinpoint.
You can see one of the defenders claiming for offside.
I thought it was.
They both stopped.
Rubber the green.
Play to the whistle.
Goal. This is a good goal as well.
This is a brilliant pass by Bundu's right butt cheek and a lovely touch into the...
I think it was a pen, actually. I think it was a pen. He was dragged down. But
I thought it was.
Let's go back and have a look. So, was he dragged down or did he fall?
No, I think he was dragged down. If you look at it from the... I think the extended lines are from the other side, from the goal. There's an arm over his shoulder and he ends up on his arse.
I think the ref was right there, though. Didn't he? Saw it there and he saw Hardie.
You're talking about Gavin Ward here, though.
No. To me, for some reason, he's just gone over. I don't think that's a foul, but I think he deliberately wanted to do a cheeky backside pass. See, I mean,
it's very cheeky.
The
Can
finish.
I just say about that goal? That I think that's gone really unnoticed from Hardie. That is probably one of the best things I've ever seen him do, because he's like. He knew the game so well. He knew to tuck in behind Bundu. Yeah. Because he knew he took it too far. Like in that situation, Hardie knows instead of running into the box or staying there, he's bust a gut to go left.
Yeah.
And he's anticipated it, and it's just an easy goal for him. And he's read the game like unbelievably. And and going back to what you said about the front three, like keep switching about. I think Hardie is arguably at his best when he's on the left or on the right, arguably just as much as he is as a number 9. Because you saw against Portsmouth, he got the assist for Bundu's goal where he flicked it. He was on the left, and then his second goal, it came from a run from the left-hand side or the right-hand side. So. Yeah, I think he really uses pace well down the wing. So to have someone like that is probably really helpful for Muesli.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, again, this is where the sort of pressure, the mental pressure change I keep referring to is, both goals, his touch to bring the ball down, his second touch to set himself for the first and then tuck it away. Not knowing, he would have known where the defenders were to a degree, to be fair, but knowing he had the time. And then this one again, where he's just about to bring it down with his first touch and then having to chip it and bend it over the defender that's on the deck.
Yeah, it's composure.
I've seen him panic in the situations before and take the shot too early. But he's both goals he's taken really, really well.
Yeah, good chance from Katic there.
This is some save.
Yeah,
that's a good save.
Hazard with another brilliant performance.
Unsung hero again, wasn't he?
Yeah.
This is a good goal, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's good take down and finish.
In the neck. Who's good? Oh wow, this is a good touch as well. Great touch. Great first touch by Sargent there.
He's gone, isn't he, from Norwich in the summer?
Definitely.
He's not. Then we're going to ask questions.
Yeah, and there's Callum Wright. Was that? Yeah.
Yeah, Callum Wright. That's a good ball.
This is another great ball.
This is Hardie of old, where he's panicked.
He was blowing up his backside. I was right behind him.
I think he was just out of puff to try and get to that.
To get in that position anyway,
yeah, absolutely. It was a good little play, and actually,
this is the JB bit. Look at the 1-2 here with Hardie. No, it's not.
Oh, hang on. No.
I thought I was.
No, it'll be coming in a minute.
Can I just
want to say on this that Callum Wright's come in for a bit of stick at times. I know it's still about end product and all that sort of side of it, but one of the things that Hardie was also doing in the game was coming back and defending a lot, which then sort of left us short when we could counter, and having his stamina levels generally are just incredible. But I thought Wright did so well when he did more in the first 5 minutes than Obafemi did, in my opinion, in this game. But he came and he held the ball up. He held it. Look at the top of the screen.
Look at this run from JB now into this space here.
Yeah, and then there we go. I let it run. So Hardie's crossing over now. So I think that's Bundu up. Hang on, that's Bundu up here, and Hardie's running across.
Yeah, and look at this.
Oh, you just wanted to slide the ball through then.
He didn't panic at all, JB. There's class ball.
Yeah.
Into the red zone.
You just want that touch to be a bit
Go on, Gavin.
Go back to the midfield piece, right? As long as Jordan Houghton's got a hole in his backside, he is not making that run, and he is not driving the ball up the pitch in the fashion here. But this is such an intelligent ball. For Callum Wright to pick him out. B, to get into that half space, and I'm no coach, as you know, right, is absolutely class. Now that, in a nutshell, in that 8, 9, 10 seconds, is what we've seen from Cercle Bruges and Miramball.
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably one of the perfect examples. If you don't know what we're on about, we're referring to the live lounge or show on Thursday nights at 8:45, where we did a presentation on Miron hoofball, so to speak, and debunking, or dissecting, what that actually does mean from his time at Cercle Bruges. Gavin Pitter, really good presentation, and did a bit of research watching the games for that one. So go check it out. You'll see it on our YouTube channel. But yeah, I think he did say, didn't he, Hardie, that he took his eye off the ball or something when in the Argyle lounge afterwards when he was getting interviewed, he basically said, for a fraction of a second, the defender got in between the line of the ball and me. So he lost it for a fraction of a second. And then he was like, I'll just stick a leg out here and try and hope for the best on the timing. And obviously he was a fraction out. If that comes off a solid connection of his studs and goes in the bottom corner, that's one of the best goals we've scored this year. It was class. And
I'm not seeing a blue on an Argyle player for a while.
Seen a what? Sorry,
a blue rating on a football for an Argyle player for a while.
Yeah, he's got his 9 star 9 on there, isn't he? So normally, I think the star man isn't it normally blue anyway for the highest?
Is it?
Oh no, maybe not, because on the right hand side in Norwich they don't have a blue star. So, Gavin, you're right. So yeah, without going back and checking, but yeah. So if we, it just felt so good, those moments yesterday. And like I said, sort of we'll go on to the subs, JB and Callum Wright a bit more, because I think the timing of them was absolutely spot on. If we look at the squad overall, obviously, yeah, Hardie with the standout, Bundu with a 7.8, equally did well in that attack. Obafemi, for me, was brilliant against Watford, and then just sort of, I'm not sure where he was yesterday. Gavin, you're obviously a big advocate. And yeah, it's not that I'm not, but I just was disappointed. Didn't see enough.
In transition against Watford, he had the ball at his feet with runners running off him, and he could pick a pass. And also the big chance that we had for Hardie, that was a slide pass that I thought he got really well. I can't remember him yesterday having the ball at his feet with any kind of amount of time to put a pass in. I think he did a good shift for the team in his 60 odd minutes.
Yeah, it's off the ball work.
He busted a ball, I think, for the entire 63 minutes he was on the field. And his work rate was great, and that allowed us to defend. I'd say, I'm not a big fan of Jordan Houghton, but I thought his defensive work yesterday for the 63 minutes he was on as well was very, very good. I just thought his want for the ball as usual was minimal. Randall was outstanding. I thought he was probably, take Hardie aside, probably the best player on the park. I thought he ran the midfield. And he wanted the ball all game, which is nice to have him back in the side for the last 2 games.
Yeah,
physically wanting to take the ball in difficult areas where he's closed down and actually do or perform that role. That actually, I'll give Wayne Rooney some credit here. I think Wayne Rooney gave him some real confidence during the season and said, "You'll take the ball from the centre half or the goalkeeper, and on the half turn, you will be our playmaker." And I think he's done that ever since. Done it really, really well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Herbie sort of like when you look at when you looked at that starting lineup yesterday, did it surprise you seeing the likes of Houghton in the starting 11?
Well, I always think, and I was speaking to loads of Argyle fans about it, that either starting Houghton or JB sort of shows how you're gonna start the game. Because obviously, Gav, you mentioned like the Houghton and JB sort of comparison. You said JB makes the run and Houghton wouldn't have done that. For me, I think that's like comparing chalk and cheese. It's like Houghton is very much like he gets the ball off better players and he gives it to better players. And sometimes it's simplistic, but it's sometimes what you need. Whereas JB can go in the midfield and go, right, let's attack now. Let's go and win this game. Let's go and get a goal. So you can sort of see that. So when you start Houghton, you think, okay, the midfield's going to be more defensive minded. We're going to be more compact in the midfield, and we're just going to try and hit on the break or try and hit the lines. Whereas if you have JB, and then who was there was one more change from, it was Mumba for Puhat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was the change from Watford. Yeah. I thought Mumba was great again. Excellent. He's like on the ball, probably one of our best players, can get you out of really tricky situations, drive forward with the ball.
It's funny what happens when you play against your own club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can drop his game, doesn't he? Yeah.
Trying to unmute myself, switching between 2 monitors to bring you stuff. So just on the substitutes quickly on screen, Darko JB for Jordan Houghton on 63 minutes. Callum Wright came on as well for Obafemi. Interestingly, and I won't state claim to this because I don't always look up stats, but I was listening to the Pilgrims podcast this morning in the beautiful sunshine. Whenever Obafemi has started, Argyle haven't lost a game, I believe, if I remember that correctly. Interesting stat.
Yeah,
and then we had Victor Poulsen come on for Nikola Katic.
Really well.
he did go down on the deck, Katic, before he came off. And obviously there was discussions of an injury, and I believe I haven't listened to the post-match press conference, but that there was a player that did pick up an injury, and Miron wouldn't quote who it was. If I'm going to take a punt, it will be Katic. Has that been confirmed?
Did you? Yeah. So if you about 3-4 minutes before he comes off, we get a goal kick, and we're 2-1 up, obviously, so we're not rushing. Katic sprints to the halfway line and covers his mouth like so, and has a 30-second conversation with Miron. Right. And I thought, he's taking liberties here because he's in the skipper at the moment. I thought maybe he was having a conversation around tactics, right?
Yeah.
Something he'd seen on the field or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then 3-4 minutes later, up comes, Paulson was already in full kit with a bib on.
Yeah, he was.
Think, are we going to go now? Well, my initial thought actually was they were going to bring Matti Sarinola off because I thought he looked tired. They were going to move Katic to right back, and they were going to bring Paulson on and play a back four. That's what I thought they were going to do, right? And then compact the midfield a bit and have 4-2-3-1. Yeah. So that makes sense. And then over he comes and off he goes. And you think, he was obviously having a chat then about how he felt. And then obviously, I don't know if you saw the post-match press conference, but he basically said at half-time he felt a tight hamstring. They tried to haul him off. He told Miron, "Fuck off, I'm playing." So in the words of Miron, he's a seasoned professional. He knows his body better than we do. Out he went, but obviously he felt that was the time to haul himself off. So will he make Wednesday? I wouldn't like to bet against it.
Yeah, no.
If he's got a hamstring strain, I reckon he'll try and get through it. I don't think he'll be out for too long. If it's not Wednesday, I think he'll be back Saturday.
Yeah, well, it's let's fingers crossed. But yeah, I did see him go down just before. Obviously, you got a great view of the dugout overhead where you sit, Gavin. So brilliant spot that. But yeah, Victor Poulsen did come on, and I thought Poulsen actually did really, really well as well. And then late in the game, 89 and 90th minute, we saw Freddie Azaka come on for Hardie and Joe Edwards on for Matti Sarinola. So he has been criticised for the timing of his substitutes recently. And I think, sort of that was perfect. We were having, sort of Norwich having a right go at us in that second half after getting the goal. We weathered the storm well. They didn't have any major clear-cut chances, certainly. But, it was just the fact that, we needed to freshen it up with some legs. And Callum Wright and Darko JB did exactly that. Yeah, as Matt is saying in the comments as well, the timing of the subs being yes, they were right. The right players, I should say. Just a brilliant managerial performance from Miron. You could also see that. Let me switch back to that screen. You could also see that in the celebrations at the end. He walked really up close to the Devonport and the Linders clapping as obviously all the players went off. So you could see he was like, do you know what? We're still in it. We are still in it. So for me, a sort of man of the match, and it sort of says it in the scores there, really. If Hardie hadn't got those 2 goals, was Randall. Superb. Just so much energy, so much desire and fight, in the game, and there was some really brilliant tackles that he played, late in the second half, which I think just you needed to do. And yeah, what a player Herbie he was yesterday again.
Yeah, he was outstanding, and I generally think there's some of the stick he gets from Argyle fans when he doesn't have a good game, because he is only human, and actually he's not a mature player yet, is he? He's like, I think he's 22, 23. He's not like 27, 28, and he's played week in, week out in the Championship. Like, he is not going to be perfect, but I think when he's
24
on his day, he's arguably he's one of our best players. And like, people are very negative about him, I think, when he's like, he does his pass backwards. He's a negative passer. He's negative on the ball. It shows today when that he's actually not. He's always looking to go forward. He's always looking to pass it. He's always I think he was outstanding. But also as well, a little appreciation. I think Pleggy was outstanding as well. And it wasn't as good as his Watford performance.
Yeah.
So people didn't give him really the praise. But I think he was immense, as always.
So I think Ben Collins, evening Ben, hope you're well, mate. Miron reckoned he'll be there on Wednesday. That must be referring to Katic that we were just talking about. It seemed like a man possessed. There was one challenge that he made. I can't remember if it was the one where the player was sort of trying to run through onto a pass, and sort of he got in the way, tackled him, and the ball went flying down. And he pegged it to stop it going out of touch and kicking it back to Miron, where he could have to Hazard, where he could have easily left it for a throw in. But yeah, he was just immense. Pleggy, I felt had a great game. To be fair, the back three, I thought were really good. Katic was definitely solid again, as usual. So, but Andy, Mumba, coming back in, sort of with Sorinola. I'm slightly surprised Sorinola's got a little bit of a higher score than Mumba. I did feel he looked a bit heavy, in that second half. With the number 7, was it, of theirs that I think Science, was he was having a bit of a tussle.
He was running him ragged, wasn't he?
Yeah, but thoughts on the two wide men, the wing backs?
Yeah, I thought Bad had a great game. This is one of his better games for us. He made a couple of mistakes, but didn't know most of them. Sorinola, like you say, he looked a bit leggy. He looked really leggy for some reason, and he was just like. Yeah, but he did his job, got up and back the field, but it just looked really sluggish. And every time Sands came towards him, it looked as though he was going to have to beat him all the time, And I suspect he's worked him out. I noticed he went down with cramp again a bit later on. But,
played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, played a lot of minutes. Both of them did really well. They did their jobs. That's what we want. That's what you expect from them. Support.
I think with Mumba, Andy, it's sort of. He creates you. He can create you something, can he? He's always going to make a defensive error if you rely on him too much. In defence, he's always got that little sort of error in him. But sort of when you let him play and play creatively, that's where you're going to get the best out of him, aren't you?
Yeah, he's got a great low sense of gravity as well. So when he's running at people,
he likes to be on the floor a lot. Yeah,
and twist and turn like a twisty turny thing, and he's really good at that sort of stuff.
I actually thought in the first half? Yeah, the first half. I thought Hazard had swapped boots with him. Did you see him when he went over?
Oh God, he gave me a heart attack.
That was a nerve-wracking moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought, oh God, he's put Mumba's boots on by mistake.
But Hazard's kicking yesterday, and I think it wasn't to his best. But I mean, we talk about that wind again. That wind was quite strong and swirling, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was moving around certainly a lot in the second half. Gavin, anything else to add to the
I just
players
think,
yesterday?
The tactical play by Thorpe, I thought was a bit naive. So we often give people the flanks, right, and pack that central area, which I thought we did really well yesterday again, especially in the first half. So they got the ball wide, and Sainz and I don't know how you pronounce that, Mach, is it? The first thing they did when they got the ball, and Nunez, when they got the ball, was to look back inside and play the ball back into the most congested area, where we had a really tight, connected middle sort of midfield, and either it was Bundu or Obafemi in the centre were also causing havoc. Why they didn't go, okay, you've given us the width, thank you very much, we'll belt down there and then get as many in the box as we can. They always tried to go through our compacted middle, which for me seemed a little bit peculiar. That's why I thought it was a complacency of the whole scenario of, well, we'll just turn up and play our normal way and we'll beat them. But I thought the setup again was exceptional defensively, the shape, and also just one more thing, a bit like Colombo. Some of the stats I was doing for Miron said that he had the highest defensive line in the Belgium league. Right, his back three were about 2-3 meters on average inside their own half. In that first half, we were really pressed. So our wing backs were really high, boxing in, a bit like what's been done to us on periods, where their wing backs were boxed in because we played such a high line. I know I sound like Aaron Cusack, but completely unqualified to do so. But they did, and also pack that midfield, which meant that we were on the front foot far more, and our press was higher and was more intense. It fell away in the second half, but I thought that was, for me, like true mirror and ball, and was something that you can see it's beginning to click. And I know there was a few comments on Twitter like, "Oh, it's sod's law in it. We're down now, and we still start to play well." Well, he's only been in 3 months and a bit, so it's hardly surprising that they're just starting to click, because it is a alien type of football compared to what they played with under Schumacher, Lowe, and Rooney.
Yeah, do you think though, and that we sort of said this on the last couple of shows, that 2-week international break, could have been so important for many reasons, but certainly just to get time on the training pitch without having to think, oh, we got a game Saturday, we got a game Tuesday, we got a game whatever, and you just, and yes, the mindset, of sort of we got nothing to lose. You just felt that everything just came together a lot better. The starting 11, the way we played, yes, we gave them a lot of possession, and then the substitutes, the timing of that, the impact they had. The other sort of question, I suppose, is when we do get that 70-30 normally split of possession, in this case 75-25, is will teams adjust their style of play against us and try and give us more of the ball? But then could we be even more effective than if they do that?
It's really difficult, and there was a really good stat from Twitter. I don't know who put it up, but the possession stats of the league, the top 6 possession stat teams, we've got to play 6 of them in our 7 games.
Yeah.
Which to me means, I think if we're going to get a quarter of the ball in the next 6-7 games, happy days. As long as our transition is accurate and we're putting chances away, which I think we will, and I hope we will. But I'm still not expecting us to stay up, by the way, right? I'll just make that categorically clear. I'm not getting excited here, but I've said all along, these last 8 games, now 7, is a bit of a pre-season for next year to work out who's staying, who's going, and whether they can start to play this type of football and show the fans, I suppose, a little bit of it isn't just Katic and Maxi wellying a ball 60 metres up the pitch and hoping that Bundu flicks onto Hardie and we get a goal. So yeah, on that basis, I think we're nearly there. It's starting to form, and you're seeing more and more of what I would believe from my sort of 4 or 5 hours now of watching Cercle Bruges. We're seeing more and more typical mirror and ball than we have, but that's only understandable, right? Yeah, you're right. There's been 2 weeks off on the grass, but there's also been more training sessions. It's muscle memory, isn't it? It's trying to get to play in a playing style that you're not used to, and to reiterate what I said a couple of minutes ago, Miron plays very differently from the previous 4 managers. And we've got a squad that plays that game of the previous 4 managers it pretty much exclusively, apart from maybe 2 or 3. So that's what we are.
I've just, Ninja Matt's also just said, going forward, that high line is going to be key. More time, new players in pre-season gets us closer to it. Absolutely. I just pulled up the league teams, FOTMob stats. Yeah, average possession. Leeds with the most at 61%. Swansea at 58%. Will be interesting on Wednesday, as Gavin's alluding to, and obviously Norwich yesterday also on 58. So,
if you scroll down there, Coventry are one, another one as well, as are Sheffield United. So there are some. If you can get the full stats up, there we go. Middlesbrough, Coventry. Yeah. So we've still got to play all these guys, right? And that one below Watford, by the way, is Sheffield United. There you go.
Yeah, so, top 10.
The top 10, we've got to play 5-6 of them. So it's only Preston who we've got left to play who isn't in those stats, which is, I think, really encouraging. And it just, I suppose, it emphasises when we say, oh, we're crap against teams around us. Yes, because they don't have the fucking ball.
Yeah.
If you look at some of the, like, let's say, for example, Derby at home, they have 35-40% of the ball. We have 35-40% of the ball. I kept saying to Roger Biami, who's the club stato for 20 odd years, Rod, what happens when the ball's for 20% of the game not with either side? Does it sit off the pitch, or where does that go? But I think we're right. We need clubs to come and press us and try and be expansive and play the ball along the back a lot and to keep possession and look pretty tippy tappy for us to win it, get down the flanks into the red zone and score.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah,
so-
no, absolutely.
broken record.
Don't disagree at all. I think sort of coming into this sort of next game against Swansea, and I'll pull up your lineup in a second. I think it's going to be, I've never felt as I don't want us to go down, and I'm the one that, as Steve said to me, sat in front of me for the first time yesterday. He said, "You're always positive," and it's like, that's because of the type of character I am. But I did come to that acceptance after the Derby game, and mentally just said, do you know what? If we're down now, we're down. Accept it now. It will only be our own doing for end up going down if we do. But I just saw something at Watford, and then obviously, never really expecting to get a win away, and we could have done, and then the game yesterday against Norwich, who are fighting for a playoff place. I think they were one place outside it, and we get the win with some brilliant goals and a couple of other good chances. And that was the other thing, it was 4 shots on target. One was Katic header in the first minute, and then obviously the chance right at the end. And it's like, we would normally fluff so many of those. So great, the fact that we converted 2 of them, for me is it's a positive step that the lads can then take going into the Swansea game of, we're going to go at it again and see what we can do.
Let's
Herbie,
think as well, Mike, right, where we got our first away win last season. Anyone remember?
Swansea.
Swansea.
At Swansea, yeah. 1-0.
So it would have been in Cardiff if Butch hadn't put one in his own net from 65 yards. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Right. So just going to do a quick little breather for 5 seconds to just remind you all, obviously, about us. So we're the Block 9 podcast. So we've been bringing our show to you for this season of the Championship League. We do have our website. You can go to theblock9.co.uk and you can see all about us. You can also play our Championship Shootout.
Yeah,
you can
capture...
Yeah, our YouTube shows. I still haven't fixed the podcast thing. I need to get on here later. Let's go and see in our Championship Shootout game. So for those that have just joined us and not sure what is it he's showing us here. So I made a little game so you can just select your team. Obviously, you're never going to select anything but Argyle. And then you can go away and then have a bit of a blast. I'm going to deliberately die just to see who's top of the leaderboard.
Ninja Matt.
It certainly won't be me.
He's going to get banned.
He's still there.
You've got to ban him from this. Look,
he's not just top of the leaderboard.
You were going to spend all afternoon trying to beat him.
I've
spent all week trying to beat him, mate. All afternoon.
He's not just the top of the leaderboard. He's the top 10 of the leaderboard. He's
exactly.
absolutely pulled your pants down, Andy.
I got to like 2,000 in that day. I thought, yes, come on, I'm getting. Oh no, 2,000.
Oh dear. Matt, you have to
how is that time to count tweets?
I reckon he's hacked it himself.
When he's the top 10 of the leaderboard, he's beyond Matt. You need to get a job, a more worthwhile job, Matt. I know you're an accountant, but Jesus,
yeah,
I think you must be overseeing the accounts, not doing them.
So, and also just to give a plug to our merchandise. So, look to build on this. But yes, we had our first order. Yesterday, Friday actually, posted out to the customer yesterday. So I have to thank the wife for getting the mugs all finished off. So all done.
How is your nan, by the way, Mike?
Say again.
I said, how is your nan, by the way?
How is the what? Sorry,
on one customer. How is your nan? That's what I was asking.
Well, to be fair, I've got you. Andy's got his mug. Your mugs are all ready. I need to arrange to drop them to you this week, so they're all ready to go. Plus your additional 2. So Andy's going for the standard team mug, which just literally has it's this one here. Hang on, let me jump screens. If you don't want our ugly mugs, excuse the pun on it. So you got that, which just has the Block 9 on either side. They are really good size mugs, 11-ounce mugs. And they are fully microwave and dishwasher safe.
And one of those is going to wing its way down to Arthur Sweet, my mate Sweeters. So you'll be getting one of those Sweeters.
Yeah, no, excellent. Spot on. So yes, you can go on there and buy that. And we'll add some more bits to it as well. I've even mocked up one, but the wife did me a mouse mat the other day. So, stranger things have happened. And I didn't have an image for it, but if you look at our X account, you'll see I came up with action figures. That's the next big thing, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely. So
That's going to
so
be in a
look,
rugby kit, by the way.
let me just is it before I bring it up, is Herbie, any last thoughts on that game yesterday before I bring up Gavin's lineup for the Swansea preview?
Yeah, just always just sort of going back to how Muesli's set up and how the Norwich manager set up. It was like, I don't know, as much as I think I've said it before, I said it after Watford, as much as a fan base, we collectively, have a go at Mueslic for not getting it right. In that same way, you have to give him the credit when he does. And two games in a row now, he's got it absolutely spot on. And he's got a draw, which we probably could have nicked a win if we didn't, sub on certain players. And we had our main attackers who could bury the chances. And then obviously yesterday, he got it absolutely right. And we had the players to bury the chances, and we did. And him, Hardie, Randall, like all these main players for us are the reason why we're still hoping.
Yeah, absolutely. Gavin, don't worry, I'll do it live. So
Okay.
So you can. So
I was about to go into lineup 11 and send you mine on that one.
That's all right. Yeah. So we'll just the interactive FOTMob. Just to add, we're not sponsored by FOTMob. If they are interested, though, you can get in touch.
Just £100 an episode would be fine.
That's just for me. The rest are about £5,000. Yeah, we like to use, because I think their site's brilliant with everything it's got on there. So they do have a live lineup. So Gavin, starting in goal, I don't think you're changing
Hazard in goal. Same back three. Blake Rossetto, Katic, Such. Katic injured. Then I put a slash Palsson.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one there though, because if you do that, you've got no recognised centre half on the bench.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which is, I suppose, okay, but you could then flick to a back four if one of them got injured, or you start with a back four. But anyway, for the purposes of this, Katic is going to be, in a cryo chamber for 24 hours, sorting out his hamstring, and he's probably made of titanium anyway. So let's be honest, you can't strain titanium. So back three as per. I've stuck with Bally on the left wing back position.
Yeah. So let me change that to that.
Which took me a long time to get there, actually, because I thought a bit like your comment, Herbie, around Houghton.
Yeah.
It is like if you start with Pusac, I think he's got a bit more defence in him.
Yeah.
But then I thought, we're going to Swansea, we've got to win, right? So we may as well
go for it. Yeah.
That squad, and if we get the win, I probably potentially would have brought Pusac on Saturday instead of maybe Edwards, but there we go. JB and Randall in midfield.
So you would start with JB in this game?
I'd start with JB, and I'd have Boateng on the bench, and I'd rotate Houghton.
Yeah, I want to pick that up after this, because obviously Beidou was missing on the bench, Al-Haj again, and Boateng again, which is interesting. So yeah, go on, carry on with the lineup.
Serenola as per, and then front three as per. So only two change. Well, one change from Saturday, and that's JB in midfield. I thought he answered his critics, as you sort of alluded to a bit earlier, Mike. I think he answered his critics beautifully yesterday with his 30 minutes. He got vital interceptions. He made some good tackles. His desire to get up the pitch quickly and execute the game plan in transition, I thought, was excellent. And I just like him. I think he's going to have a big future as a footballer. I'm hoping that we can convince him to stay here, because if we can get him for about £1 million, I think you're looking in 2 or 3 years' time for him to be somewhere between 5 and 10x that figure, which would be a great position for us to be in, to pass him on to a Premier League club. But he seems happy down here, and I rewatched a couple of weeks ago because I just stumbled across it. Last season's loan, he did a Leeds on loan sort of video vlog thing of how he was, and he drove around the Barbican and the Hoe in his Mercedes Benz with someone from the club, and then they talked about how he was playing here, and he basically said, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm getting regular football. The results aren't going how we want them to, but I'm learning a ton of stuff off some good people, and I'm really happy. I think he's probably even happier this year because he'll be more settled, and he's making some regular contributions. So yeah, that's for me the big sort of talking point is who plays in that second midfield space, and then the Mumba or Pusac thing. And I think Pusac is very good. I think we lose crossing ability when Mumba on the field, but he does bring that je ne sais quoi, to use a French term, when he's got his foot on the ball and he takes players on and gets us out of trouble 9 times out of 10, and he'll buy a foul in that bottom corner to get us the pressure off nearly every time he touches the ball when we're under the cosh. So that's my team.
Yeah, no, I think sort of studying it. What would I change? The thing with JB, it's an important point to note. We've referenced it before, and I was listening to him talking about it on the Pilgrims Pod this morning. And there's another one that I'm going to bring up in a minute that equally might surprise a few people that was said on there. But yeah, JB has been on and off, hasn't he, in games, and it's you sort of think to yourself, you want him to show that quality throughout the whole match, so I can see why you've included him. And if we're going to go out and attack, it's clear that he really wants to drive that ball forward. So, I think it will be interesting to see how he starts off. Being away, will he feel he wants a bit more defensive reassurance, and will he swap Mumba with Pukac as a result of that? The balls that Pukac can put in, I know even Carl sort of pointed it out the other day that they haven't been as good as they were early doors, but it's a player who's come in and he started a lot of games very early in quick succession as well. So, but yeah, it's for me, I'm not sure on that. So, Andy, what would you change, or are you agreeing with Gavin's lineup there?
No, I make a couple of changes. I agree with back three there. Katic with Paulson coming in if Katic isn't ready yet. The only 2 changes I'd make would be to push Mumba up and have Pukac on the left and drop Obafemi. Sorry, Gav.
Okay.
Got to remember how I spell. There we go.
There you go.
And have who on? Sorry, who else did you change?
Drop Obafemi
up front with
okay.
top with,
interesting.
Just to pose that attacking threat even more.
Yeah,
because I think Bally will offer you more up in that position. I looked at Obo yesterday, and he did have a good game. I'm not knocking him, but there was times when he was vacant from the game.
His game was okay. I think Gavin touched upon it. He sort of is off the ball work. He does cause defenders, and they do. They have, because obviously he will go straight at them. He's good at high pressing. He clips their heels and stuff. Yeah. But he's a bit. He's still a bit hit and miss. But again, it's all about sort of the regular matches and all that sort of stuff. And he's been in and out, hasn't he? With starting or as a
drive, and I think Bally will drive, and I think Pukac has got the ability to put the ball across the box from deep, from the wing, as we've seen in a couple of games.
I don't unlike that. It's not my start. It wouldn't be my preference, but I don't unlike that. I think that could just as easy go and get a result at Swansea as the team I picked.
Just more attack minded. I think Mumba brings more running forward and getting in faces
and skill to take on players, which is where him and Pukac, could be interesting linking up on the left side. Herbie, what are you going with in your lineup on Wednesday?
I'd go exactly with that. The only reason is because we're away from home, and I generally think away from home you have to set up differently regardless of who you play. And Pukac putting in like deep balls, getting the ball, and so I'm gonna get really tactical here though. So realistically, when Pukac has got the ball and he's sending it in deep, you want Hardie far right and you want Bundu in the middle.
Yeah.
And then you want Randall running in and then Sorinola tucking in centre mid. So then if they were to hit you on the break, you've still got your 2 centre mids. Suits pushes up and you've got a 2 back with Suits playing right back and Sorinola in midfield.
Yeah.
And then if it breaks down, then you can just go back into position. But I do think that, and then if Mumba pulls away his defender and you've got 2 men in midfield plus Randall edge of the box, that's where you're going to get your goal. And say we do get that goal and it's 1-0, then defensively we are so strong that we can just try and hold on and then just hit him on the break then.
Yeah. One thing that front three does do is you've got 3 very different players.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you could say that Obafemi and Bundu are similar-ish, apart from the fact that one's got about 1.5 foot on the other. Whereas that front 3 does have a dribbler, not off his chin with the ball, It has someone with power and pace in Bundu, and it has someone who can get behind on the channel balls from his right flank, and also can come in from the right, as he's done in a number of occasions, flick into the 9 channel and score. So that does offer a bit more of a licorice all sort of selection up top. It makes it a bit more dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I think
I
it's.
still had Femi coming in as a sub, maybe near the end when tired legs are there and making an impact. He's got that. He's definitely got that.
I think for me, I like the Mumba switch in there, to be fair. And like I said, I think Pukac, defensively playing away from home, you would probably go with him. So I agree with, Herbie, absolutely. The Bundu and Hardie just seem to be sort of working well together, and I think that's the two you can't really change. And obviously with the position switch, it does. It's always suited Hardie playing out in that wider position. And I think, sort of going into it, I hope we are brave. As we pointed out just now, the stats, possession-wise, Swansea are right up there, in the league for that. So we just got to bide our time and just look, for those opportunities to go and attack. And as Herbie says, have the likes of, Sorinola sort of tuck in just to sort of cover that back line, and just play with confidence, play with that aggression, to sort of really catch Swansea out. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good lineup. So
yeah, I think as well, Randall running into the box is probably one of the most crucial things out of Bundu, apart from Bundu and Hardie, obviously. But because I don't know if this is something I've just picked up on, that he's got a hell of a leap on him. Like, he can jump high and he does win headers a lot. And I think the only time I've really seen him that leap of his, like, help a goal was our first game back in the Championship against Huddersfield, and he won a header, and it was a bit of a scramble, but he won a header over some 6'3" centre back, and then Whittaker scored and we went 1-0 up against Huddersfield, first game of the season. And that's sort of the only sort of time I feel like he's properly used his leaping ability to help us get a goal. So I'd like to see him do more of that, run into the box, back post.
And we saw it yesterday as well, didn't we? He's got that precision pass. If he can get him on the ball, that one touchdown, that ball over the top to Hardie, it was precision. And it was,
and to be fair, I don't know if I touched up on it earlier, but I think, was it Hardie that said, sort of Randall, he knew what Randall was going to do, and so read the ball that was coming, and obviously led to creating the opportunity and scoring the goal. So it's fabulous. It was a brilliant goal. The thing I was going to say earlier, hang on a second, let me bring this up. So Michael Obafemi, I'm going to go around the room. Herbie, how old do you think he is?
It's been about 31.
Andy?
24.
Gavin?
He's 24.
Yeah, he's in a nod. It was just when I was listening to the pod this morning, it was just like, you forget. I have to hold my hands up like Herbie. I thought he was late 20s, early 30s. So yeah,
he was playing. He was playing Premier League football at 18, 19 for Southampton.
Yeah, he's been about for ages. I thought he was way older because he was at Burnley, Southampton, when he.
Well, he's had two stints in the Prem,
Yeah, Swansea as well. That's when I think he played in the Prem for Swansea, and I remember that
went to Burnley.
That was the sort of first season I proper started watching football, 15, 16, 16, 17 seasons. Yeah, and so I didn't realise he was that young when he. So yeah.
No.
Well,
so
if that's the case, then surely I didn't realise he played for Swansea. We've got to play him. We've got to play him on.
Oh yeah, no,
as an impact, I think he's great, Gav. I think not for the full 90 though. You've got to have someone, with a bit of pace up front, to tire them out, and then bring Obafemi on for the impact and score the goal.
Yeah, 24. I'm glad he had a very hard paper round, didn't he? It must have been all hills.
He did.
I'm glad I went with Herbie first, because if Herbie gone, he's 24, and then it would have been, that was pointless then. But it did shock me when I picked up on that this morning. So, but yeah, it's as Gavin says, he's paying for his next contract, to keep him going. But
he would do wonders for us in League One.
He's got the ability.
But paying him £50 or £25 a week is just completely unacceptable. So
yeah,
he'd have to probably shave 15 grand off that, I think, to be anywhere close.
Yeah, so I touched upon it in the lot while we're talking about the lineup, and I'm conscious we're coming to the end now, so we'll do the score predictions in a second. But Malachi Boateng not featuring in the squad at all again. What do we believe is going on there, Gavin? Anything?
I think that he is. I think mentally with Al Haj, Beidou, and him, I think he's probably parking them for next year.
Right, okay.
My brother.
What would you? Because it's not as if Boateng has had like 90 minutes where he's been shocking. I mean, when he's come on, he's looked all right. He's had the odd like bad spell when he's come on as a sub, but nothing that would make you think, well, why is he being dropped?
I think Boateng's probably our best defensive midfielder. I would play him over Houghton. I think he's got a bit more about him. I think he's a bit more agile. I think he's got a bit more power and pace. Younger. His mind works quicker. But for whatever reason, Miron doesn't fancy it at the minute. Going back to the other two, I know you've not answered me that question, but I'm going to do a question time now and carve an answer out of a question you never asked me. I think Al Haj and Beidou are so mentally fragile. But I think he's just taken him out the firing line and gone, do you know what? Reset
Absolutely
next year,
agree.
move on. What was really interesting, so at full time, the boys were obviously sitting behind the dugout. They came down onto the pitch, but Galloway, Beidou, and El Haj all had their hoods up and all stood in the technical area and didn't go on the pitch at all. But the hood up thing for me was, and I looked at sort of when Rooney was in his cap. When Rooney was in his cap, he was under pressure because he hid
trying
Rooney
to
under his
hide.
eyes.
Protection, isn't it?
Well, you're the psychologist, Andy. And for those three boys, I mean, Galloway's injured, but he's probably thinking, well, I'm permanently on the sick bed here. But Beidou and El Haj were both hoods up yesterday. And I just thought, that doesn't fit well with me. So I think they're just mentally shot. They'll get the rest of the season, if required. And I think then there'll be a reset in the new season and in pre-season.
Yeah, I must admit, I thought the same with Boateng. I couldn't work out really, but Beidou certainly, as Graham Brian just asked in the chat, was Beidou even in the squad? No, he wasn't. So, so for me, if he's clearly lacking that confidence, and obviously the pelters that he got after that missed pass he should have made, I think then it's absolutely right for Miron to take him out of the squad. Keep him out of it and just say, look, we'll get you going soon. If there's games where if we're down and out and it's absolutely guaranteed he might play the last couple of games and come on when there's no pressure. But sort of while there's still a chance, and Miron would be looking at the players that he needs and that show that fight to come in, and want to get a result and win these last few games. And protect the player, and if that is what he's doing, then absolutely fair play and a smart move by Muslich.
I don't sort of get any, some of our supporters, right? Maybe we should do a live on the actual word supporter, define it, and then if
Andy,
you might support the team rather than get
in the nicest way. In the nicest way, there's no point. And the reason I say that is because every club has them. We all fall foul of having a rant about a player or two here and there over the seasons. And I mean, I sort of did, which is equally unusual for me about Beidou because of how important get that goal could have been for another 3 points. But you're going to get those out of just with some of the comments. It's just barbaric, but every club will have them. And I think we just focus on the positives. We can touch upon it as we have done, and when Miron did in the Evergreen press conference. But let's try and stick to constructive, thought out criticism. Where it is valid, but we certainly don't because there's 99% of the supporters and fan base will be that. So score predictions then as we wrap up. So Herbie, what are you going with on Wednesday? Because there is that hope. There is that hope still.
So I just want to say quickly, because you said why Boateng isn't on the bench. Yes. I think mentally as well, but I actually think a different reason. And one of the reasons I think is Kevin Nanskerville. And because of last season, I remember when we had Foster, he got players in January, and they went straight into the team with no real sort of training, no real gel with the players, And then as soon as Foster was sacked, Nanscoville came in, and it was Dewsnip. And actually, we stopped playing Devine, we stopped playing Phillips. Scar was back in the team, and Scar put in man of the match performances. And because
Edwards and Hamilton and Callum Wright.
Yeah, and those players that have played with each other for so long, or like for a season, at least season and a half, they gel. They know what they want from each other. The same with Randall, and Hardie said, he knows what I know what he's going to do, so I made that run. The players that gel together is, I think, really important. So I think Nanscoville has gone and told Mucich, look, we need this. We need Houghton and Randall in midfield. They play well together. They gel well together. Just leave our new signings for now. Get them gelling into the team before we push them into the starting lineup.
I have to say that I'm going to give that observation of the night. I think that's exactly what happened when Foster went. Go back to what you know and the players that you can do what. And as Gavin said in the Diamond, player interview that happens after the game, Hardie saying he's going to be thinking about that miss for his third all night. And it's like, well, you got us the 3 points, but that's exactly what you want to wear your heart and soul on the pitch. So thank you for adding that. And your score prediction.
Well, I've got a 100% win record at the Swansea.com stadium, so I'm going 1-0 again.
Excellent. Are you going up there as well? Yeah,
I am. Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Andy, what are you going for?
Okay, I'm going to go Swansea 1, Argyle 2. Yeah.
Who's scoring first, though, Andy?
Who's scoring? Hardie and Bundy. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Gavin?
Yeah, I think 2-1's a sensible scoreline. I agree with that. I think in terms of scorers, I think there might be a Randall goal. He's due one, free kick or something. And if Pusach is not on the field and it is Mumba at left back, then Randall's back in the free kick stakes. I think we're due one, and I think a tiring second half. But it might be the throw of all throws to Gianni on late doors and getting a smash and grab 2-1.
He wasn't used, was he, on Saturday? I thought he would come on actually, but he didn't.
Don't put Sorinola on free kicks. That's what I'm saying.
No, that was horrendous.
Free kick.
That was the biggest Aussie rules conversion ever. It's good.
And Mucich went absolutely nuts on the touchline.
I was right above him. He was, for about 5 minutes, he was just giving Matt Sorinola a stick.
Yeah, and Science, to be fair, must have said something to him, because after the free kick, when they were running back for the goal kick, he was Sorinola was chirping in his ear. He was shoving him. They got quite feisty. Actually, if I can't be bothered to double check. I don't think there was a single yellow card in the game yesterday.
No, there wasn't.
Oh, was it? Who was that?
Norwich player, was it?
I remember, but there was one yellow card, and I think it was one yellow card. But Gavin Ward probably missed about 6, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't an Argyle player. It was a Norwich player.
He let it go for a bit, but I actually thought it was all right. There was a few dodgy decisions early in the game, but it was all right after that. So, okay, so Herbie is going up there on Wednesday, so it'll be good. We'll get another sort of eyes view with your post match, which I inadvertently forgot to pick your preview up. So
you didn't.
So is just because I was so big, I don't get the email notifications on my Gmail, and so I suddenly yesterday just thought, I didn't pick it up. So I messaged Herbie and said,
everyone will be able to see your pearls of wisdom.
Exactly. Yeah. So we shall get the post match up, and then the Swansea preview. But it's always good to have someone at the ground. I know Harvey England tries to do that and come on where he can, but his shifts just don't work. So it'll be Herbie that will give us that on our Thursday live lounge. And also our better check, but if we're going to do a Sheffield United recording, or Gavin is, hopefully with one of the Sheffield United podcasts, so at 8, so we can do some of that as well and show that during the week. But other than that, thanks Herbie, Andy, Gavin for your company tonight. Everybody in the chat.
What's your prediction, Mike?
Thank you very much.
What's your prediction, Mike? Come on.
Say again, what?
What's your prediction?
You're
bolling it.
Oh, sorry. It's because I got my son's coming because we're about to go off and do stuff. So, right. Or tough 1-0 to Argyle. Hard fought 1-0.
1-0,
That's what I'm
1-0,
going
2-1, 2-1.
So
Okay.
thank you
well
for
done to
keeping me in
Carl
order,
and
gents.
Gavin, for getting the 2-1 prediction right yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ben's going 1-2, so that'll be 2-1 to us. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Please give us a like, share, and a follow on our accounts. And we shall catch you for Thursday night's live lounge. Fingers crossed, it's another win, and the great escape is still on. Other than that, we shall catch you later, and thanks for joining us.
Take care.
Good night.
Thank you.